will learn to fight. I will learn to fly. I will learn to kill. I don't learn to die. Taking back the walls, taking back our life. Strike on every tight until they out of sight. I will learn to stand. I don't learn to fall.
So, we are back, and we're on the crunch. So let's get it started right away. Anyone do anything interesting this week before we go on with the news?
What's the order we're doing?
Oh, all right. It's you, then Mallory. So she's gonna give like a second pause, and then if you don't say anything, she moves on. Which we're gonna keep this part of the podcast. So let's do it. All right, Josh. Anything? Josh. Anything interesting happened this week?
I mean, aside from the usual work BS, did get to play some Transformers TCG during the weekend. So
Nice.
Small tournament yesterday.
Where do you play at?
But it was fun. Otherwise, just been bogged down by work. That was a nice way to get unwind a bit.
Yeah.
Not much video gaming for me.
Where do you play? Just at home with friends, or?
So it varies. It really depends on where everyone's gathering, where an event is going to be held at. Friday night we met up. After I got out of work, I met up with some people over at this local place, Night Watch Games, and it's mostly very tabletop oriented, but they're supporting the Transformers TCG scene there. They also run Magic the Gathering events there, so They're no strangers to card games organized by WotC.
Well, that's good. That's good.
And then Saturday, the local tournament was at a small card shop, kind of close to downtown, near one of the community colleges down there. I think it was like the first event they held there, but they're going to try to get weekly sessions going on every other Tuesday.
Hell yeah. So. That's cool. That's cool. Anything else, sir?
Been just like binge watching random stuff on YouTube and
hey, that's my life, so I don't blame you. I can't make fun of you there. All right, cool. Miss Mallory?
Well, I went to go get my hair done for the first time in a while.
There you go.
And then me and my nephew were doing like test records of a new app he showed me to like stream video games from my phone. So we were testing that out today, and then I walked around and shopped for my friend's wedding, which is on Saturday. Excited, ready to get that over with, so I can save money now.
Yeah, it's like exciting. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, like we're both at the same point. Like I'm maid of honor, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like let's just get this done.
Come on, months of planning.
Don't want to spend any more money.
Oh God, yeah, weddings are expensive.
I still have to find shoes, and I've been putting it off for like ever now. But I played Dr. Mario this week. I played a little bit more of Trover Saves the Universe.
I still need to look into that. I when you said Trevor, I thought of Trevor from GTA Saving the Universe and like a space thing. So I was just like, that would be a game.
I meant Trover.
That's a video game.
Yeah, that's a real one. And then other than that, I haven't really done much. Work was work. Watched a lot of TV. I think I don't even know what show. I'm watching Billy and Mandy. So that's cool.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Classic.
I just ordered some new makeup brushes so I could do a beauty review on that.
Look at that. Exciting. Look at you.
I know. I'm making progress from nothing on my YouTube channel. Huh?
Like so many hats there.
I know.
That's a lot.
I just have to stay busy or I'll go insane.
I think that's the case for a lot of people. All right. As far as me, I played more Judgment, of course. I'm on 60. Oh yeah, cool.
I watched some of it.
Yay. No, it's been going good. My streaming's actually been picking up in terms of like at least getting people consistently showing. That's always one of the hardest things. I don't really have a schedule, so in lieu of going on a schedule, I just stream as much as I can. So I've been doing like 6 or 7 hours a day. So at least in between work. So that's a lot of time used, but it's been going good. I'm about 60. I'm over 60 hours in, and now I'm on the final chapter. So I don't want it to end. So I'm kind of taking a break from it on purpose. I hope I don't take too long of a break where I don't finish the game, because I've done that before. Where God, there are countless games where I got to end game and then I just stopped. And then I beat it like 3 years later. So I'm not going to do that. That's not the goal. Because the goal is I'm actually going to do that, replay 0, and then do Kiwami 1 and 2, then do 3 on PS3, and then 4, and try to get caught up, and then do 5 and then do 6 on PS4.
Nice.
That's the idea, but that's actually like over 1,000 hours of gameplay, right? Or no, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like almost 1,000 hours of gameplay if I do my usual memery. So
nice.
There's that. I also started playing New Vegas again. Streaming, I've been using Xbone, but then I've also been doing it on my new computer with mods and stuff. Since I'm trying to get a pure experience for the stream, I'm doing it on Xbox to prevent doing mods, and then fucking around on as much as I want on PC. So it's doing dual thing with that. And that's my week. So at the 5-minute mark, let's get into the news. So first things up, of course, we all know that the Switch Lite was recently announced. So a couple of interesting things. So first of all, they actually have teased, yet I think, Josh, were you the one who told me about that? One of you guys that talked about the Switch, the medium, not the Lite, but the Switch kind of weird, the Switch, not Pro, but Switch, also not a Switch Lite. It's like a fourth one.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I don't think that was in ours.
That's not reminding me of anything.
Okay, so basically there's going to be a Switch 1.5. So the Pro still has to be officially announced. The Lite was announced, which from that very reliable source, the Pro is pretty much confirmed at this point. There's going to be a Switch that's the same as the Switch now with a better battery.
Okay.
So there's that.
Which is fine. I hear the current one's good enough as is.
Yeah. The current one's fine. Some people bitch about it, but I guess as a very busy person between all my shit and work, 4 hours. I get an average of about 4 hours. I can play Skyrim for 4 hours portable on one charge. With if you told me that years ago that I could even play Skyrim to go on a handheld, not a laptop, I would have laughed at you because I wouldn't have thought that's possible. With the fact that we're at 720p portable gaming right now is pretty cool. You know, you have people, of course, crying it's not at 1080 60, but come on, honestly, for what it is, that's not bad. So the current average lifespan, depending on what game you're playing, because it depends on how hard the system's chugging, is anywhere from as low as 2.5 to 6.5 hours. The brand new one is going to go between a threshold of a minimum of 4.5, so the max I've been getting, to a maximum of 9 hours now on one charge. The Switch Lite, of course, no removable Joy-Cons, smaller, actually better battery life despite being smaller, so that's cool, but can't be docked, so on and so forth, though I'm sure someone will make a USB-C mod for it. So there's that. An interesting thing also related to that is the fact that they recently ran a poll in Japan. Obviously, Japan being the biggest fodder for PlayStation and Nintendo stuff, it's a great place to do polls. They did a poll on whether or not the anticipation of Switch Lite is there. An overwhelming majority already own Switches in Japan. Go figure. And they said that it's cool, but not enough difference to go ahead and double dip or convert. The second one was they're just waiting for a Pro. And then the third one was that they're just going to go ahead and roll with it and get a Lite. So surprisingly enough, overwhelming amount is that it's still not enough of a incentive to upgrade, nor has it convinced anyone who still doesn't have one to get one. So it's an interesting limbo. Nintendo's still anticipating to do a lot, but I found those results kind of interesting.
Makes sense.
I wonder if having 4 models of a console is a bit of saturation, because people already criticized Xbox and PlayStation for having that iterative update that does 4K. Xbox even did 2 of them with the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S. And now you have the Xbox One S all digital, aka the Xbone SAD. So with all those being a thing, console saturation has always been alive and well in the market, but Nintendo usually at least spaces it out quite a bit. It's interesting to see Nintendo do something very similar to Microsoft within 2 years instead of... Actually, very similar to around the time Microsoft started thinking about doing it. Do you guys see console saturation being a bad thing, or the more choices, the merrier?
I think one thing is you also kind of have to look at the culture aspect of it. Because what you brought with Japan, one thing about Japan is, like America, they don't cycle out their systems and stuff like that.
Right.
Like when the new 3DS came out and it didn't come with a charger, in Japan they're just like, you don't need the charger. You already have the 3DS. You don't need it. It's the same charger, but in America, everybody wants to look forward to, trading in the old one, for the new one, or, of course, mobile gaming's not that big in America.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, arcade life and mobile life is not as big here.
Yes. So if you have more mobile consoles, more options for a mobile platform, for America, it's going to cater to them a bit more because they have options. Like, okay, I was kind of holding off on this. Maybe I'll buy one now. This one kind of suits my
tickles your fancy,
lifestyle better than this other one. In Japan, right. Like you mentioned, like they all just jump on board. Like no surprise that they pretty much almost everybody has one. So
and to your point, that makes it very interesting. Where I wonder, does Japan? I'm almost assuming this would be a given, but I'm still, I have to pose the question since I don't have facts in front of me. Does Japan spend more on consoles than we do in terms of the average person? Because if you factor in selling to GameStop to get credit to buy the new one, do we save a lot more money than they do? And is the pure profit margin over there much higher? I would assume it is, because of what you're saying is all true.
True, yeah, I'm not sure. Interesting.
But Miss Mallory?
I mean, I do it all the time where when a new console comes out or a different console from the same brand comes out, like I buy it. Like my family is known for that. But it really just depends on like the specs and stuff. So like we traded up to the 1S when we all got 4K TVs.
Right, because there's that incentive.
It made sense. But, I mean, I held on to my regular Xbox One for probably longer than I should have, just because I could still run all my games, even if I didn't have 4K capability.
Americans, I've noticed, it's very varied. Among my friends, there's a few, it's almost even between people like me who have every console, people who kind of gravitate to just one, and then those who kind of get to each console kind of late, which there's nothing wrong with that because your libraries are all built up by then, and then you can just get the best version, Yeah. Some people who I know just jumped into PS4, went ahead and got the Pro for a great deal. The Pro, I wouldn't say is really worth doing if you already had a PS4, unless you're just that much of a graphics snob and wanted to, when more games run at 60, which is always nice looking.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say necessary. And so it's very split. I know a lot of people of each of those, and I don't think that there's a clear shot demographic, whereas what Josh was talking about, it's almost very clear that in Japan, it's just nature that the next one's out, you get it. It's almost like iPhone culture here, except, with intelligent people. So there's always that. But yeah, so there's that. More Switch-related news is that they announced that there's two brand new Joy-Con sets coming out. One's neon purple and orange, the other one's blue and neon yellow. Now, they look pretty enough, but let's look at the cost breakdown. They're $80. Oh. Now, of course, this is going to be applicable to people who are going to get the lights, because you don't need these unless, you want to have extra ones. But the console itself is $300. That's the dock with the console. Your replacement Joy-Cons are $80. This is what happens when you try to make an affordable console, but you got to make money somewhere, aka the accessories. So I don't know. I mean, personally, I think $80 is cheap. Expensive.
I was like, whoa, okay.
Sorry. I mean, it depends on what it is. But anyways, no. But for Joy-Cons, I think that's not enough Joy-Cons are not good enough of a control. Okay, an Xbox One controller and a PS4 controller, which are both some of the best controllers I've ever used, are both $60.
Yeah.
The Joy-Cons are some of the most shit controllers I've ever used, and they're $80.
Well, didn't they have... Because I know I went to Walmart. Sorry, Josh. I went to Walmart a couple of days, and they had Joy-Cons on for like $60 or $70.
They do, and that's because they're like the replacement plain... Those are the replacement ones that came with the OG blue or gray console.
Oh,
like the blue and red or the gray ones. Those are cheaper because those are the ones that are more seen as replacement. So, These ones are more seen styling.
What is the difference in the Joy-Cons? Is there any different? Are they the exact
Other than
same?
the colors, they're the exact same. And here's the problem. One of the biggest advantages...
for the color.
Yeah. One of the biggest advantages that the Switch Lite's going to remedy that the OG Switch still hasn't fixed is a proper D-pad. See, they didn't put a proper D-pad because they thought everyone was going to use the Switch ability, which Nintendo still has to learn at this point, that their gimmicks are cool, but no one uses them. And because of that, they have the 4 buttons instead of a D-pad on the OG Switch. Yeah, I know, it's gross. And the Switch Lite is going to have a proper D-pad. Okay. These new Joy-Cons still forewent the proper D-pad and still have the 4 buttons.
Oh. So there's no difference other than the color.
Other than being bad.
But you can just buy skins for those.
Yes, you can.
Because I just changed mine to all Galaxy. So.
Yeah, which you could just do that.
Right?
So. Yeah, there's that. So that's Switch news. 2 games have implemented anti-cheat measures, and this is one that I definitely want to see what you guys think about the way each of these are approaching. Overwatch, Apex Legends, considered 2 of the currently biggest competitive games out there that have the shoot bangs in them. Overwatch has obviously had a plethora of cheating problems. I mean, most competitive multiplayer is going to have that issue. Their current implementation of anti-cheat is actually been kind of controversial, and that's why I'm very curious of what you guys think. So, in the instance at the moment, at least if I understand, Josh, I know you keep up with Overwatch news sometimes, not quite as deep as you used to, as much as you used to. You used to though, but just in case you heard something, do correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I understand, their current cheat measure is that in comp play, if a cheater is detected and verified by a mod or the server, the game just ends. So because what would happen before is they would kick the cheater and now you're uneven teams. And you would just hope that the other team would throw the match or agree to quit. Now, the game, if you're on Ilios and you're 75% through, but then they caught a guy fucking going through the walls or some shit, the match would just end and everyone goes Dutch and then they move on to the next one. Their hope here is that the cheaters get frustrated enough from throwing enough games and just getting enough of their games interrupted that they'll eventually stop or quit cheating. Do you think this is an effective measure, or do you think the consequence of ruining and stopping everyone else's game is, what was better, when the teams were uneven, or this stopping of the match, which can possibly happen several times in a row if you keep getting paired with cheaters?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is. They're both bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably favor, they just get kicked and the match keeps going.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? Because now you're uneven, but at least you got to keep going, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't But again, if you're so close to pulling a win, you still might be able to, maybe.
Now I'm not super high. I'm silver tier, so I'm not even that great. But I've pulled some 5v6s or 4v6s and still won. So you're right. The possibility is still very much there if your team's good.
Yeah, I would personally, I would rather have it that way.
Okay.
I would not want the game to just end just because, one guy decided to be a dick.
Yeah. Mallory, you agree, or what do you think?
I mean, but at the same time, what does that do to your rankings?
It won't do anything.
Because
the match ends like that and you just go...
or anything like that. No. It just resets, basically.
Yes.
So it doesn't hurt your rankings in any way. But I think that would get really annoying for people who aren't cheating.
Yeah, so the idea is...
I would get super frustrated with that.
The idea is that the percentage value of you running into a cheater several games in a row is not common. But if you were to, could you imagine that happening 3 times in a row? Especially if your team was kicking ass. And then now it just goes Dutch, and then you guys just don't get anything out of it. You just wasted your time. Especially if the match went on 30 minutes or something.
Be like, I'm over this.
So I guess between the two evils, I would have to agree with you, Josh. At first I was on the just end it side, but now that you've made your argument, I kind of see your point, and I guess I would rather just try to go that last ditch effort than just have to fucking start all over again with a new group.
Yeah, I would personally get so frustrated if I was in a situation where you keep getting paired up with that, and then it's like, well, what the hell? I can't even play the game.
Yeah, but very much, and I think that anyone out there can definitely see why it was a controversial thing, because neither of them are necessarily a good solution. But that's what it is. Now, Apex Legends, on the other hand, their anti-cheat measure is something that Wooly and Pat had actually recently joked about that should be the solution. And if Wooly and Pat are involved, it's something stupid. And so what Apex Legends does is, as you rack up your notoriety as a cheater, they just start matchmaking all the cheaters together.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. Get all the Hanjo wasn't a cheater, but
but still, as a meme, exactly, just like that, essentially. And then eventually your algorithm gets tainted, and then you just eventually start getting caught with other cheaters, and you guys can just cheat each other to death, and no one cares. If your algorithm can catch up real well, your matchmaking algorithm, I think that's not a bad solution. I just pity the few people who might be innocent and just get caught up in the matchmaking because they need 2 other people or 3 other people to just get pulled into that all cheaters match. But I don't know. That one's a little more interesting. There's not much to say about that one, but that one's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Pit all the cheaters together and let them be. So
let all the bad apples ruin it for themselves.
Although I fear it also might make them enjoy it.
Oh no!
I mean, at least they're cheating against each other and they're not cheating against normal people.
Exactly. All right, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's on the paper that I have. And why is Joseph Gordon-Levitt on the Gaming News podcast? Because recently, did you guys see the promotion that Watch Dogs Legions had?
No. I can't say I really keep up with anything Watch Dogs.
Okay, and I don't neither, but this one actually seems kind of interesting. So the idea behind Watch Dogs Legions in a Reader's Digest version is I really haven't cared for the series. 1 was not that great. 2 was better. Whatever you want to take that at face value. And then Legion is an interesting one where as you go throughout, there become kind of a legion of these watchdog type protags, but now you can switch between different people in society who are also hackers. So you can become hipster Joe at the coffee, but then you need to become hacker grandma at the park. Like
that's awesome.
In the trailer, there's legit old lady grandma that just caps a dude in the face, and she's Granny? Hacker grandma. So. So that's the premise of that. But this has nothing to do with that part. So what they did is they put out a little promo, Mr. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's going to be in charge of this project. And they want you, that's right, you musicians out there, to make the music for the game. They want your music in there. So, exactly. I think your reaction was very apt. Because the average consumer would probably be like, whoa, cool, right? Well, here's why it's not cool. Beyond Good and Evil 2 tried to do something very similar. First of all, it's a shame because Beyond Good and Evil 2 is going to be such a bastardization of that series. But basically what they did is they did a similar thing where they were just like, hey guys, we want you guys to get really involved. Any ideas you have for narrative or maybe monsters or maybe visuals or maybe locations, we want you to give that to us and we might use it. So you can see what the problem is here. It's almost like they have a blank drawing board and they're like, fuck. We need to make this game. And we don't have anything. Basically, Watch Dogs is doing something not quite as gross, but in a way they're doing something where Gavin on the Jimquisition, Jim Sterling's podcast, he made a really interesting point because he is a professional musician by trade. And he made a very good point. The payout, if they use your song, is $2,000. He said
not
that
royalty, just a flat sum.
Exactly, and you already pinpointed the first problem. $2,000 at first sounds great, right? 2,000 extra buckaroos in your pocket. But here's what he was talking about. He said,
"Game's going to be in circulation for a while."
Yeah, there's that. So you could have made
soundtracks.
You could have made more, which is probably why they want to do it this way because it's cheap. It's cheaper overall. Ubisoft has bank, but here's the problem too. He said he was talking about how to get the track at the quality level that Ubisoft will want to use it in their game, you are going to spend over $2,000 on production to make that track. And then he said,
"Hey, but oh, I was going to say, but you know what? Imagine the exposure."
And then he also made fun of that aspect too, how that's almost always the industry cop-out is to just say the exposure, throwing that word around. But you're right. That's kind of what they're going. They're basically like exposure plus 2 Gs. And then the other issue with that is the fact that he said, let's just say you have the equipment and you have the skills to do this yourself and not have to spend $2,000 on production. He said, guess what? You've probably already spent over $2,000 in equipment or could be getting paid way more than $2,000 to mix other people's music.
Yeah.
So basically his whole point is, from a musician's point of view, a professional musician's point of view, he doesn't really see any real incentive unless you just want your music in Watch Dogs, which he said, look, if you want that, if $2,000 is a lot to you, or you just don't give a fuck about the $2,000 and you're just like, I love Watch Dogs, I want my music in it, he said, more power to you. That's not who he's criticizing. What he is criticizing is Ubisoft for doing this very smarmy tactic because they realize that licensing music's a lot more expensive. So now they're just trying to put it in your hands and they're trying to spin it as this fan insert into the game type bullshit.
Yeah.
Any, you already shared some thoughts, but any additional thoughts on that, Josh?
You're thinking 2,000 just for the equipment alone, but you also have to think of, like, you still got to pay your own rent, you still got to buy your own food. Like, there's still also the living expenses tacked on, how much time you're spending just to create and write, produce, and mix all of that. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It just doesn't become worth it. $2,000 as a lump sum just sounds not that much when you break it down. Again, to the average consumer, that probably sounds like, oh, wow, you're getting paid that to be in a major AAA game? It's like, yeah, but think about how much money, for example, the licensing on Tony Hawk's soundtracks, which are some of the best video game soundtracks licensed of all time. Imagine how much all those, Public Enemy, Bad Religion, all them, imagine how much they made on royalties for releasing those songs out to those games. Because a lot of those bands, especially the smaller, very small bands like Goldfinger and Suicide Machines, they probably got the exposure and way more money than they ever probably did before that point. So that is how you're supposed to do it. But yeah, the Neversoft guys had to shell out tons of cash to license those soundtracks. So that's what it is. They're just trying to have their cake and eat it too. Mallory, in terms of, like, I don't know your musician experience, but do you have any kind of input from, if not a consumer's point of view, of how you see this type of tactic that the industry uses to try to get free workers, basically?
I mean, I've seen it in, like, shows where they give it to the fans and they create a whole show around it, but they're not asking them to put in their hard-earned time and money to do it. They literally will ask fans to be like, hey, draw our characters for this episode or something. And I always thought that was really cool. But you're talking about producing something that takes, I don't know how much time.
A lot of time. Because they want to be in the game. Ubisoft already wants it ready to ready to use.
Oh, okay. So that's a little unreasonable.
Yeah, they want professionally mastered shit.
But for, like, the
cheapest
cost. You
gotta pay for your software and stuff.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it yourself,
I mean, unless you're, like, a really big fan of Watch Dogs, I could see it being a good idea. But other than that, like, the time, the money, the labor, all of that, just the work that you're gonna put into this. Like,
$2,000 all of a sudden doesn't seem like much.
Yeah, it's like, I can go do that delivering pizzas in a week.
You could. Some people, man, I'll tell you, tip jobs, if you have the patience and the car for it, you can make like a bandit sometimes. That's true.
So I think Ubisoft is just wrong on that one. I mean, unless they lower their standards and are willing to help the creators, then I don't think it's worth it.
Exactly. So, speaking of Ubisoft, it does continue. The Ubisoft train has not left the station yet. Wow. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, let me just start by saying Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the last two, are some of the most fun games I've played in a while. That's right. I never thought I'd say that Assassin's Creed and most fun in the same sentence would ever be a thing, but they are great games. That being said, of course, still filled with bullshit, optional, but tempting to the average consumer monetization. So basically, one of the main things that they make a lot of their money on is so there's a XP progression. It's very more RPG than it had been in the past. It's more of an action RPG now than a semi-stealth, whatever the fuck it was before. Because of that, they have XP hurdles, as you know, anyone who's played an RPG. The higher level you get, it starts to degrade how much the XP is actually worth towards leveling up each time. Well, of course, Ubisoft has this very convenient XP booster that they sell, and when you buy it, it is a one-time transaction, but it costs like $10, $15, which you figure you multiply that by the hundreds of thousands who bought the game, they've already been fine at that point. And their whole thing is, buy this. And a lot of people have, because they're just like, wow, this makes the game so much more enjoyable, because it's not terrible, and, if you can grind it out, good for you. I didn't buy the boost, and I grinded it out, and it's fine. But for the person who just doesn't want to spend that much time in a game, I can see that being a thing. And of course it has been. So what happened recently is they dropped a level creator. Drop your own missions in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. What people immediately started doing is creating levels that just ended instantly and gave you a shitload of XP in order to counteract this bullshit DLC. So Ubisoft definitely did not like this, and they immediately put the limitations and threatened to ban people, because this ruins the integrity of the game. The company who put an XP boost microtransaction DLC says that the people counteracting their bullshit DLC is ruining the integrity of the game. I don't see any argument for Ubisoft's side, but if you guys do have any thoughts on maybe Ubisoft being right in this case, go take the floor, I suppose.
It's not exploiting a mechanic. It's just surprise grinding.
Surprise grinding. There you go. There's that.
It's just a glitch. I mean,
yeah.
Unless they're trying to be like Mario Maker. But I mean, that's actually fun to do. Not just like, 10 seconds of nothingness and then you get 100,000 XP.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I don't have a counter argument.
Mr. Josh?
Sorry.
I mean, I would say, like, if they you would think someone should have seen that coming. But
that's the thing.
You would probably think that maybe
yeah.
put in, like, the stipulation, like, oh, yeah, you don't get XP from these, but of course nobody's going to want to play them then.
Exactly, right? So it kind of goes on that. And that's the thing. I've heard that on every podcast or video I've listened to that talked about it so far, and all of them made that your very good point, which is, did they not see this coming? And perhaps they did. So you did a very good job of following up with your second thing, which is, well, then no one would have played it. So I guess what they were trying to do is a little litmus strip test, because they can just patch it anyways, where they were just like, are people going to fight our bullshit? Oh, they did. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. They fought our bullshit. Yeah. Another thing people were doing is they would drop maps where you would go around just killing a bunch of NPCs for XP, but they would drop you with an ally NPC that's just OP as fuck and would just fuck everyone up for you. So you're just walking around watching everyone get mauled by your partner. So just stuff like that. The Surge 2 dropped recently. Now, Josh, I know you're a big fan of the FromSoft games, obviously. And I say obviously, like everyone has watched your videos, which they have. And so that came out a lot more denigrating than I meant to. That was supposed to be a bit, and then it fucked up. The bit went wrong. The bit went in between the cracks between the couch.
Let me get some aloe vera.
What I meant is that everyone should check him out, which the plug's coming up, but everyone should check him out. But anyways, now, I know you like the Souls games. Do you like Souls-like games? Have you played Souls-like games like Lords of the Fallen and whatnot?
I played Lords of the Fallen for a bit because they had it for free on Xbox one time.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't too fond of it.
Me neither.
I didn't think it was that great.
I think
it felt
too
good. Clunky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it felt way too clunky for me. So the gameplay just felt off. It's real hard. I couldn't really get into the story or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
So it really didn't catch me anyways.
Yeah.
I do want to check out that Code Vein. I know that one.
Oh, Anime Souls? Anime Waifu Souls?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna pick that shit up too, because it does look like it could be pretty good. If you can capture even a 7 out of like a 70-80% Souls feel, and then add that anime aesthetic to it as like a little bit of an interesting counter to Dark Souls' very gritty imagery, I think that could be cool. Well, the reason I asked you that is because, have you ever played The Surge?
Doesn't sound familiar.
So it's like almost like a tech steampunk. Steampunk's not really the fair thing. It's like grungy, like car part like using car aluminum to make your armor on your leg, chainsaw arm attachment. Like it's kind of like not really future, but kind of like gritty today tech arm. Like it's a really bad example of it. But anyways, that's the world you're in. And the Surge 1 had a very bad caveat. It's probably one of the best Souls-likes, but it suffers the problem of shitting the bed as it goes on. Because the game itself is fine at first. You're like, wow, this actually feels pretty good. This game's kind of fun. I like the idea that this takes place in a present version of a post-apocalyptic world, like today's tech, but gone, to shit, and the world went to shit. And, it's an interesting take on it being so different from Dark Souls. And then the gameplay feels alright. It's not too bad. Not bad like Lord of the Fallen. But then as it goes on, you're like, wow, that boss is difficult for all the wrong reasons. Man, that level just did not go the way it should have. Why did I have to go do that? It starts to add these things where you start really disliking the game as it goes on, unfortunately. But it is almost worth checking out just because... once again, it had the right idea, and of the Souls-like game, it's probably one of the better ones. But at the same time, whenever you put anything like game, it always falls to the issue of it not of feeling inferior to the product that it's being compared to, right? So when you have an open world game that's supposed to be very Skyrim influenced, but then it feels shittier and looks shittier, what incentive do you have to play it? That's the problem when you follow up with existing when you're, you know, and sometimes it's not fair. You know, when you get called Skyrim with guns, that's not your fault that pre-gen ads on Facebook called you that. But anyway, so the Surge 2 dropped recently. Apparently it's actually pretty good. They apparently addressed a lot of the issues that the first game had and kept a lot of the stuff that made it pretty good. So apparently the Surge 2 is definitely worth checking out. So I will probably try it out at least and do a first impressions video of it. I'll probably just rent it from GameFly. I'm not going to do a full, I'm not going to fucking go in on that shit that hard. Unless it's that good, then I'll go buy it. But yeah, no, Surge 2 is apparently pretty good. So, and yeah, Josh, if you ever see the Surge again, I think it was free on PlayStation Plus a little while ago, or maybe that was Xbone. But if you ever do get the chance to play it, or if you can pick it up for like $10-15, I'd say it's worth it to at least check out, because I would like to see if you agree that it shits the bed, or if you're able to get past those adversities and just be like, you guys are just shit.
Yeah. Nah, maybe. I was going to say, is GameFly even still a thing?
It is, actually.
Oh, wow.
When you do a lot of reviews for AAA titles like I do, it's actually a best friend. Because for $10 a month, or $10 on the months I want to rent games, and it's not games I'm going to buy, it does a really... And without being able to have enough clout to get the devs to just send me review copies. Until then, it's a nice medium. Because if I even review 2 games that month, because they have brand new games too, like right when they come out, they're available on there. So it's a good way to get $60 AAA titles. I could do, because of the ship time, I can do like 2 to 3 a month for like $10. So not awful for reviewing purposes.
You can also get DVDs and Blu-rays from there.
That's true, yeah. I forgot about that. You can actually do that. Yep, you can do that as well. Gears 5. Did you ever play Gears 4, or did you ever play anything past Gears 2, Josh?
Gears 2 was the last one I played. Okay,
as a lot of people, and it was probably the last good one. Which is a shame, because the Gears series had the right idea, and the co-op was fun as all hell. Gears 4 was not great, because playing as those millennial kids as opposed to Marcus and all them just wasn't fun. I'm always cool with trying to do the new kids on the block, like when they added all the youngins in Soul Calibur. But when that's done poorly and these kids or even in Mortal Kombat, but when it's done poorly and then these kids are not cool, it makes the game a little harder to enjoy, because the mechanics and everything are fairly solid. They actually are very reminiscent of the previous Gears games. So like you feel the game feels good, right? But now you have all these characters that are like popping bubblegum and texting, and you're like, I don't know about that. Well, Gears 5 is going to drop, and they have confirmed that it's still going to have the kids. And I don't think Marcus Phoenix is going to have his cool get off my lawn moment like he did in Gears 4. But one interesting that came up about is that there's a bit of controversy whether or not one of the directors is kind of censoring the game a bit, because a lot of people are claiming that if you look at really early pre-rendered art, there's a lot of hints of smoking, tobacco use, and stuff like that now are all wiped, and actually explicitly by the director kind of bragging about how there's no smoking in the game. Of course, you have the natural knee-jerk reaction of people being like, SJW, he's anti...
culture.
Yeah, but Ferguson recently did come on the record, whether this is true or not. I don't see why he'd lie unless he's just trying to save face, but apparently the reason he removed it is actually more of a personal bit. Apparently he's overcome his addiction to smoking, but also has minor lung cancer because of it. So it's more a want to get it out of my sight and out of mind thing. So
yeah, a personal vested interest.
Mm-hmm. So with that kind of thing, where it becomes, and I'm not trying to get you guys to play devil's advocate or anything like that, because it's okay to disagree with it. Do you think that the integrity of a game versus your own personal issues is fair enough to make a call like that? Because smoking and kind of that grittiness has always been part of the game's imagery. Maybe not the breaking point, but you are still changing the vibe and world once again of all of a sudden smoking just doesn't exist when people used to do it all the time in the games. Do you think that it's fair, or do you think he should have thought more of the world and product before, as fucked up as that sounds, before his own deal? Because I hate this sound. Like I said, I'm tiptoeing around here because I don't want to sound fucked up. But but it's a business and it's a product, so you also have to think about that. Is what I'm trying to say. Do y'all feel it's like that's chill, or do you think he should have probably just kept the world the way it was?
I mean, personally, it doesn't really matter to me. Mm-hmm. From like the creator aspect, like I have no qualms if there's a character that you would look at and be like, all right, like this person probably is super gritty and would like bust out a cigar every now and then. But if he personally just wanted to just remove it completely, that's fine. I don't really think there's any. I mean, it is true that smoking. I don't want to say it's like a fad or ever was a fad, but definitely not like it was like in the 1920s.
Right. We're not there anymore. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, over the years it's been made more aware that
it's antiquated now.
Yeah, there's a lot of health issues with smoking, and so it is kind of becoming like the cool thing.
Yeah,
at least they didn't replace them with vapes.
Oh God! Oh my! You know what though? That would have actually fit this universe. That would have fit this universe a lot more with these kids.
Maybe.
These kids. But yeah, what about you?
I mean, I don't think it really makes or breaks the game, just because like it is super gritty, and I mean those guys have like literally been smoking since we first started playing Gears.
Right.
I think it would have been more, and I just saw something this week about it. It's like people were getting upset over Stranger Things having people smoking in there, but they're trying to make the 80s, They're trying to relive the 80s. So if it was something like that, I would feel a lot I think I'd be a little bit more upset.
It depends on the subject matter. Stuff like that's always dicey, right? It's like you want to make a historical film where, let's just say, there's no way Asians or black people would have been there, and then you add them, and then you kind of go, uh-oh. Like, is it a historical piece, or is it based on a historical piece? And then you kind of go like, what's happening? What side do I take? What side do I take? But yeah, this isn't quite that dire, but
I mean, for him, like, it's his game, basically, right? So, I mean, for him, I would definitely, like, I applaud him for being noble about it and being like, hey, this is mine.
Yeah.
I just don't deal with it. It's like, kind of like a struggling alcoholic who
right, absolutely.
just stays away from it.
That's pretty much what it's like. He just wants it to be out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, so I mean, for him, it's great. I mean, I don't think it makes or breaks Gears. I'm still going to play it just like I have all four of them up until this point. But, I mean, it's going to be a little different because we're not going to see Marcus smoking,
right?
And we're not going to see that like that one cut scene that has it.
They should just have a blatantly removed part where Marcus is holding on to nothing and like is clearly trying to.
Right,
he keeps putting his fingers up to his mouth and talking to whoever, and there's like nothing in his hand. No.
Or like when
he's
put
leaving, like a lollipop and like in his
hand,
and then he just constantly.
Or when he's leaving, he just acts like he's flicking something at the ground and then moves on.
Save the animation. How many licks does it take for Marcus to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? But yeah. Okay.
Mr. Owl, I need to know. I can't do a Marcus Phoenix voice.
I can't. I don't know. I really can't do it either. It's just, he's very. I don't know how the voice actor does that unless he has lung cancer. Get over here.
Well, it was was John DiMaggio?
DiMaggio. Yep, it was DiMaggio.
Yeah. Joe DiMaggio was the baseball guy, right?
Yes, Joe is the baseball guy. I always confuse them by accident.
Yeah.
PC. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
John DiMaggio, he's got that rap.
He does. So. It's really good. It's always nice when someone just has that perfect, like, that's why they get hired for the gig, because they got that voice.
And they don't just sound like
especially
Batman.
Like how Steve Bloom doesn't even make a voice, but yeah.
You have Steve Bloom, and then you got, like, gritty Steve Bloom. There's not really an in-between.
There's not an in-between. So Vic Mignogna, I'm just joking. There's nothing about Vic Mignogna in the news. I just wanted to get you going, Josh.
Speak of that name. that cringe lord.
So from what you guys have witnessed in the industry lately, with PC losing a lot of AAA exclusives, because back then PC had a lot of exclusives. In fact, that's why it was still beating console a lot in the early days, not to mention consoles becoming a lot more powerful, and this generation being the closest they've been to to PC gaming in a while. Or ever, rather. With that being the case, from what you guys observe, do you guys think that PC gaming is still dying or getting stronger at this point?
I don't really feel like there's an either or. I mean, it's weird. Like, at least from what I've seen in like the fighting game scene, it varies on the game. So, for example, Tekken and Soul Calibur 6, the communities there, they actually play on PC more than on console.
Oh, wow.
The net code is actually better on PC, although there are other factors that play into it, like, the graphics and stuff like that.
Right.
But majority of the people, they do play on PC. Even though they're going out to a tournament and they're playing on a PS4 console,
right,
when they're at home and they're streaming and everything, it's on PC, like, all the time for those games.
Well, that's good to hear.
Another game... Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, it's good to hear they don't have Capcom net coding.
Oh, yeah, no.
But go on.
Thank God. Of course, other games like NetherRealm, for example, like, the Mortal Kombats and all that.
Yeah.
Even though Mortal Kombat 11 got a same-day launch on PC, the community on PC is going to be a lot smaller than it is on console. Most of the players usually are on PS4. Xbox is a little niche, and then the Switch and PC players are even more niche.
Right.
So it really does vary on the game. For FPS, like for shooting, I still would prefer to play it on PC.
Right.
Because I just think mouse and board is the way to go for that.
And as tournaments that have actually pitted controller players versus mouse and keyboard players, statistically, that's backed as well.
Oh, yeah. That's why they had to, back in the day, they had to specifically nerf Torbjorn for console.
Right. And that's why I think that another thing with that is why when I hear about PC and console crossplay, I'm like, don't do shooters, please.
Yeah, no.
I feel like that's no good.
The PC gamer is always going to have the upper hand, not just because mouse sensitivity, but because they can have better equipment where a character model is going to render much faster.
Yeah, exactly. Because even on PC versus PC, what are you running the game at, right? Like, I feel like a player who is running the game on a big gaming rig, ultra 60 FPS, is still going to be an advantage playing against someone who's running it at lock 30.
Yeah.
And because in PC you can do either or. There's a lot of factors that come into that, especially in competitive play. But of course, if you're going to play competitively, you should probably have a better computer. But not everyone can afford that, but they want to get into it, so not trying to diss those people. But anyways, the reason I ask is because I wasn't sure either. I feel like you're right. I feel like it's not necessarily a to one side to the other. It's definitely far from dead, but it hasn't really been growing either. In fact, it decreased for a bit, and then now it's just kind of been consistent or stunted. And it seems like Ubisoft recently announced that their metrics actually do reflect this. Whereas PC actually was starting to dip in their sales over the last few years, not just because of Ubisoft, but just like the PC gaming in general, it has started to make a bit of a comeback. And in fact, Ubisoft, as an example, has actually made more money on PC than even PS4, which is the leading console by a landslide. So they have that. They said that the current breakdown in profit for their titles overall is 34% PC and 31% PS4, the rest being Xbox and so on. But as you can see, very close. You're talking 34 to 31. That's not bad at all. But they were talking about how just a few years ago, you were talking about the profit share between each of theirs being 38% PS4 and 24% PC. So PC has had quite a bit of a bump in years. And whether or not it's because PC gamers have taken interest in their games again or whatnot, it also could just be PC gaming is starting to come back. I mean, even I bought a new PC capable of gaming because I kind of did miss it and wanted to get back into things. So maybe don't call it a comeback, but that could be. I feel like that's interesting to hear that the suspected dip that I think we all kind of felt but wasn't confirmed. It's interesting to know that there was a dip, never dead, but a bit of a dipping thing. Like Mallory, do you PC game a lot or
mostly? I don't PC game as much as I used to. I mean, I used to spend hours like right after work playing Diablo and playing a bunch of Steam games. But it's just been a little more just because I've been moving and, life.
Right.
It's just been easier to play on my consoles than to PC game. But, I mean, me and my brother-in-law, we still, he still sets up a server for any game that we play on PC that we can. And, I mean, we'll sit there and, set up a server for, I think the last one he did was Ark, and it was set on his PC. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he was able to switch between the two really easily. I know a bunch of my friends who obviously play League of Legends. We definitely dropped a bunch of money on our PCs to be able to play it.
Right.
So I think it's interesting to see that it did dip and that it is it's coming back but stagnant, very slowly.
Yeah.
But I also think that some of the equipment is really expensive, so we had to wait a while to get it.
Right.
Especially because us, we don't have much money anymore.
Right. So that does factor in, and I think another thing of it also is perhaps we can attribute the quote unquote decline. Perhaps also being an increase in console sales, possibly. Mm-hmm. Because as this gen is starting to go out, it's a lot cheaper now to get a PS4 Pro or even Xbox One X than it was, a few years ago when they were in their primes.
Yeah.
So I think that might have a lot to do with the statistic as well. But again, interesting to hear about all that.
I think we're going to see a jump with some of the younger generations into PC because my nephew just got back from science camp. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about programming robots and all these really cool things. And I mean, he PC games.
Right.
So, and he spends more time on his computer than he does his Xbox or his Switch or our Switches because he doesn't have one yet. But I think it's definitely interesting to see which way it's going to go in the next couple of years because it'll be really fun to see it come back.
It will be. So, this one time at science camp. No. So, our final topic coming up. Before we get there, remember that if you do want to talk to us and about the topic, don't talk to us about it. I'm just joking. No, you can hit us up on that, but that's going to come later on the plugs. If you do want to talk about the main topic that we always do, as always, get us at disconnectedcastmail@gmail.com. Once again, that's disconnectedcastmail@gmail.com. And you can talk to us about a topic like this. So, Stadia has been a thing in the news. Stadia, as some people might say. It's been a bit of a topic of controversy in terms of not really seeing the viability of it and not seeing the clear point of what exactly it is because it was presented very poorly. A lot of people's first impressions of it that it was a bit of a Netflix of gaming, which the main producer of it at Google has stated it's not. Everyone please stop saying that. Like he's saying it's a Netflix. There's no way. We'll maybe do one free game a month, but there's no way we can afford to give you all the AAA titles that we promised you, like Destiny 2, the brand new expansion of it. Forza, excuse me. Oh yeah, Forza. What is it going to be? Anyways, Gears was going to be on there. So on and so forth. They're like, there's no way the new Assassin's Creed. They're like, there's no way that'd be viable to do a $10 subscription and get access to all these AAA titles. Basically, the way the format works, it's just another console, essentially. It's a console that you buy the rights to the games to stream. So you buy it for the $60 still, let's just say Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And now, what's the advantage of doing it on there? You don't get to own it. You get to play it on your phone or your tablet or your PC or wherever they have the Stadia app. But now you don't actually own a physical copy of it. We talked about the dangers of that last time.
Yeah.
And now, because of that, what happens, to quote Pat from Castle Super Beast, what happens when Stadia almost assuredly closes in less than a year from now? You're done.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's it. You have a dead console now, but not just do you have a dead console, at least when support gets cut for the PS2 or the PS1 or the Xbox original, you can still have your physical games and play them for as long as you want for infinity, even if they're never going to make a game for it again. Even if the servers close down. Whatever the case may be. With Stadia, once that shuts down, even if it does last more than a year, then as a lot of people are actually thinking that's a very reasonable time frame to say it might fail. If that's the case, all these people who invested in it, not just actual investors, but gamers who buy the games on Stadia, it's a little scary. Now, here's the other problem with Stadia is the fact that our internet infrastructure here is far from capable of doing this. If Google even put out their metrics, and we're basically like, even if you had Google Fiber, which a lot of people don't, I do, thankfully, but a lot of people don't, even then, the running of... Because you're talking about a thing where they're saying that you're capable of streaming 4K, for an additional price, by the way, of streaming 4K 120 frame per second. What games at 120 frames? Like, most games are not at 120 frames. Anyways, they're saying 4K up to 120 frames streaming.
Yeah.
Even on fiber, where I'm getting like a fucking hella good speed, I know that shit would lag like fuck. Or there'd be some... And the thing with streaming in general is the natural input lag. You're playing PvP in Destiny 2 or any type of competitive shooter that's going to be there, and it's like, no, this is just not a good form. It's just not a good format for a lot of things. I think Google is really overestimating their capabilities in this, especially for a company who is really barely has their toe in the gaming market whatsoever.
Yeah, because you're not downloading a copy of the game, right? You're just streaming it?
Streaming it all the time. Whether you have the basic service and you're streaming it at 720 or 1080 30 locked, or you have the premium service for an additional $10 more a month, and you're running it at 4K 60 frames or 120 frames per second, it's all streaming, always online. Now, after all this, people laughed at Xbox. This is a fucking stupid idea. Like...
Yeah,
I don't think it's viable. The bundle, basically, if you do want to play it, the suggested way to play it is a Chromecast Ultra with the Stadia controller, which is just a bootleg baby between the PlayStation and Xbox One controller. It's like a $60 controller. It looks fine. But I don't see this lasting. I'm gonna piggyback on Pat's prediction of a year. Now, whether or not a year from... So basically, if you buy the Founders Pack, which was the one I just named, it's like $120, but you get like the first like 6 launch games, the Chromecast, and the controller. It's not a bad deal on the surface. They get to play it from a couple months now, while everyone else has to wait until about early to mid 2020 when that's going to be publicly available.
Yeah. You also get 3 free games a month.
Yeah.
To let you know that.
Yeah, so with that being the case, like I said, I'm going to piggyback on his prediction of 1 year. Do you guys think a year is being a little much, or what do you guys think, prediction-wise, do you guys see this type of thing crashing and burning, or if, in the unlikely case, you guys think it will succeed, what do you look at the time frame for this, and what are your thoughts on the idea of an always online stream box for games, HD games?
Yeah, I would probably say a safe assumption is maybe a year and a half. Hour. About a year and a half. Oh god, that'd be intense, right?
Google doesn't like you anymore, Josh. That's your 1 hour prediction. No, but anyways, yeah.
You're really knocking on them on that one.
Year and a half.
Yeah, I don't constantly streaming all the time.
Josh died.
No, I dropped my phone because of how terrible of an idea this is. Constantly just streaming the game just sounds terrible bad.
Think about any time, Josh, you've been playing online and then you had a lag spike. Imagine happening that, and it's happening in the game you're supposed to just be playing. Like, so you're immersed. Say your internet's like fine enough, and you're immersed. You're doing the level, and then all of a sudden it drops to like 480p, 10 frames.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. That would be so fucking awful. It'd be so ugly. Like, I just
everything pixels. Like, whoa.
Yeah, it's not good.
Sounds so bad.
Yeah, it sounds really bad. Apparently, the director is going to officially address exactly what's going to happen should Stadia shut down. That shows you a lot of confidence that they're even entertaining that notion.
They've already got their contingency.
Yeah, they're actually going to go ahead and announce their contingency plan very soon, if not today or tomorrow. So we'll see. That's fucking sad that there's that much concern over it that they feel they have to make an official statement instead of just shrug it off.
Jesus.
Mallory, what do you think about Stadia?
I honestly, I'm looking at it, and you have to have the Chromecast Ultra, which I have to say impressed me for the first, 6 months. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that my original Chromecast worked a lot better. Mm-hmm. Me and my mom got them at the same time. I'm not even kidding. We bought them the same day. And we unfortunately had to switch because her TV went out. So I was like, here, I'll give you my regular one. I'll take your Ultra. And it's lasted a year.
Oh, okay.
With all the problems. My original Chromecast is still kicking, and it's like 2 years now. Mm-hmm. This one is now flickering, and like
doing all sorts of
I've
nonsense.
had problems with the Ultra just going out like randomly and like turning off, and I think it's something with my TV. But from a consumer's point, like I would not want to continuously buy an Ultra, which is I don't know the price off the top of my head, but it's like I think it's like $80-$90 every single year. Yeah, it's pretty hefty. Let's actually look that up.
That's a little under a Prime subscription.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that it's, if I remember correctly, I want to say it's like 60, 70.
Is
but
it?
But still.
I mean, that might have been when it just
But still, okay, say you know, it's no Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death, but say it did keep going out that much and you had to buy one every year. I mean, I almost had to do that with the 360, but it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't even think it's worth it anymore, because at least with the 360, you got to play actual games on the 360 at regular formats, like playing them. And so, I don't know, it's one of those things where I think that Google's head is too high up in the future clouds. Like, that I don't think they realize the fact that the American infrastructure, Google is an American-based company, so you know that they have to look at things from the American market first. In fact, even overseas companies usually look at stuff from the American market first. With that being said, how do they got to understand, they know for a fact not most places do not have Google Fiber. So most internets cannot handle this thing. Why would you even roll it out? You should have already known on the drawing board that the average person's not going to have it. I think what they're going to try to do, I think, and I usually like Google, but I think that in this case, it almost seems like the way they see it is as many people as at least buy it with the R&D that they put into it, they'll make some sort of buck off of it. It almost seems like they know it's going to fail, but fuck it. And
yeah, it's free R&D.
Exactly. So with that being the case, then they can make the next best one. But I don't know. I'm definitely not gonna. I'm gonna definitely hard pass, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't waste my money and time.
Yep. Even at $120 for a quote unquote console.
Yeah.
Not for this. Not for this one, because there's too many caveats and too many gray areas that I don't think will succeed.
Yeah, I would just rather put my money towards like maybe upgrading my PS4 with a bigger hard drive.
Hell yeah, best way to do it. I got fucking 5 terabyte on my PS4 and 5 terabyte on my Xbox Ones, and then I'm gonna get another 5 terabyte for my PC. So that's how you should do it. Yeah. But yeah,
yeah. Right, sadly, the 2 terabyte I had in there like keeps breaking.
No,
like it crashed 2 times already, and I'm pretty sure it's out of warranty now. So
that's frustrating.
I'm back to using the stock 500 gigs, and
that is so
terrible.
Not enough. That's so not enough, especially because PS4 is known to have that glitch where space just starts to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks ass. Everything's uninstalled. Like, so many gigs are still used. Why? Fuck you.
And then for some reason, it won't even start a game unless you have like 25 or 30 gigs free.
Exactly. Yep, you have to have 30. So that's minus 30 on top of the bricked, the stuck cement blocked data that's already not there. Now you have to minus 30 from that. You're right. I hated that shit. Fucking being like, you need an additional 30 to launch fucking GTA 5. Why did it update? No. Okay.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Alrighty,
I mean,
but yeah.
You just need it though.
Any closing thoughts on the Stadia, Ms. Mallory? Anything you want to talk about? There's not much to talk about. We already beat that horse to death.
I'm trying to think, but I mean, at $129 plus the 70, you might as well just go buy another console at that point.
Especially because the games are all full price.
A new hard drive.
If this was the Netflix for games, I could almost say it's worth experimenting and maybe fuck it, let's see how it goes, right? But the fact that they have confirmed that this is just basically going to be sold and marketed like another console, except that it streams everything, fuck that. Like,
and I'm with Josh on that one. Like, I don't want to stream all of my games. I want physical copies of some of my games.
And we've already seen streaming services. PlayStation Now plays like fuck shit. Yeah. And I have fucking Google Fiber and it sucks.
Yeah. I just don't, I don't think it's going to be as mind-blowing as they think it is. And if they already have a contingency plan, like...
That shows you the confidence.
That doesn't look good.
Yep.
Like, that's like being in a relationship and being like, well, I can leave now.
Yeah.
Or whenever I want to.
Yeah, whenever. It's fine.
Just putting that out there.
I can just leave. All right, y'all. So, on the internet, Mr. Josh, where can or where do you want people to find you on the internet, Mr. Josh?
On Twitter, at Joshiro Joestar.
Yeah.
Twitch, Shiro887. And on YouTube, Shiro Play 5.
There you go.
On my YouTube, I just recently put out the deck profile for the Ultra Magnus deck that I played at a tournament yesterday, so there's that.
Nice.
That is how you use this segment for a hard shill. That's exactly what this segment's for. So yeah, definitely check out that video, guys. Good stuff. Miss Mallory, still setting everything up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just got my Twitch
okay, good.
set up. I just got my YouTube set up, and I just tweeted something today.
Oh, look at that.
At me.
Look at you growing up.
Ooh,
I know. It wasn't a very long tweet.
Is it all Awesome Mally or
yeah, it's all Awesome Melly.
Okay, cool.
But I'll get more information, and there'll be more videos up soon.
Yeah, in future eps, she'll have more to say.
I will, hopefully.
All right, then you can find me on @ZDRocker at most social media sites, SlimAsianEntertainment.com, and you can watch, not watch, why do I keep saying that? You can listen. We were going to do a watch thing. Fuck it, that's not the story right now. You can listen to all past, current, and guess what? If you're listening to this in the current, then you can listen to also future episodes on disconnectedcast.com. That's the witchcraft at disconnectedcast.com. And we will see you guys every Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on the internet, on all your favorite stuff. Apple Music, Spotify, or your other platform of choice that we're probably on. We're on like 12 of them. So definitely check us out and subscribe on there. We hit... for July, it's not even over, and we're at over 400 overall streams. A lot of that coming from Spotify and the website itself. So thank you all for that support. We're trying to keep that going. We went from averaging 1 to 200. Now we're up to 400. So thank you all for that. Thank you for anyone who's actually subscribed or checking out the YouTube channel and streams, especially the streams since I've been doing that a lot lately. Those who have been coming and hanging out and chatting, that's been really, really fun. So thank you so much. And again, we'll see you guys next week. So until then, let's hope Randy Pitchford doesn't leave a hard drive of porn in the middle of a children's restaurant. So see ya.
Bye.
Taking back the walls, taking back our life. Strike on every tight until they out of sight. I will learn to stand, I don't learn to fall.